Hello guys and gals, me Jeffrey here, and today we're doing another Thomas the Tank Engine creepypasta called the Sodor Acid Incident, also known as the Sodor Crossing Incident. It's a creepypasta that was made by Tender Engines Incorporated, Tender Engines Incorporated or something like that on YouTube. So here's the story. And I'm gonna read it word for word because it's fairly short, but it's got some interesting details to know how it goes, as it's one of those creepypastas. So feel free to get yourself a snack and a drink, and feel free to listen. In 1984, it was long before or after Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends. There's some lost episodes that were much more worse and darker, like early reel of 1981. Or The Untold Story of Timothy, which conveyed of horror for disturbing testing. Someone made this very dark episode that ever seen on Thomas the Tank Engine's shows, and there was nothing that was, like non-ballistic. And it turns out that Britt Allcroft saw this, and she was completely shocked and horrified for the result of that unknown employees from the team was fired after the witnessing of the hard lead and lost episode Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends. The big results couldn't be recovered mostly, but there were some recovered tapes which were thought to be lost, and the studios had it somewhere in the story where they could find it in some lost medias. As the video starts, it showed a black screen for a few seconds, and then a title card appeared saying Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends. And after that, a few seconds later, the title card disappears, and then the black fades out and the episode starts. But there's no narration in this episode at all. We see a scene of Knapford Station, and Gordon is waiting at the station with his express train until he was to depart from the station. The next scene shows Gordon puffing along through the countryside with his express. Then the next scene, meanwhile, shows that there was a problem. The Sodor Acid tanker truck was stuck on the level crossing, and the driver tried to start the engine of the truck, but it was no use. But then there was worse to arrive, as the acid driver saw Gordon was approaching ahead and ran out from his truck. He was waving his red flag and shouting to Gordon to stop the train, and that's how the episode just starts becoming strange and dark. As Gordon saw the acid tanker truck was blocking at the level crossing, he tried to stop, but it was too late. Gordon smashed into the acid tanker truck and derailed with his express. And then the screen turned into a black screen after the crash, and as the black screen slowly fades out, we see a horrific scene where Gordon and his express coaches are derailed and covered some blood, which were probably from the passengers, and even much more worse. Gordon's face was starting to be melting off by the acid. His eye sockets were gone, and his face still remained shocked in blood as it melted. And Gordon's crew got either injured or killed by the crash, and it was a horrific scene of the whole episode, and the screen was cut by a black screen. So that was a pretty morbid ending to a lost episode. Now, granted aside, the cliches I saw throughout reading this story was the blood, and that was pretty much it. But the thing about Gordon's face melting, if Gordon's face was melting in this so-called lost episode, shouldn't his face also have blood in it? Because, we saw that the engine's faces had blood, for examples like Ghost Train, The Untold Story of Timothy, or something like around like let's say Shed 17 or Project G1. But those are different stories compared to this one. This is a lost episode. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this lost episode. Feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe. Like it if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it. Feel free to put your comments in the section, what you should comment to change to make this story look better. This is Jeffrey Samborski signing out.